Hi, my name's David Hart from G4 Guitar. What I want to do here is go through the G4 Guitar Method Starter Kit, which is the folder and the book that we use to teach our students the G4 Guitar Method. First of all, what I'll do is I'll quickly show you what's involved, what we've got here, and then I'll take you through it page by page. This here is the G4 Guitar Method folder. I'm going to show you how it's put together. It's basically a folder and the inserts that are in here. I'll take you through all that in a minute. This is the Progressive Guitar Method book. This is also included with it. This comes with a CD and a DVD, and it's going to provide everything that they need to know for reading, but we also use it for other reasons as well, such as chords and general music theory. Okay, let's get started. What I'm going to do here is, this here is the folder. Let's go through this page by page, and I'll explain what each page does and what it's for. Now, the folder itself, you can actually get these from Officeworks. They're just a white folder. They're two ring bound, and they have these little sleeves here, so they're great for putting the book in. So what happens, I'll just do it here now, is that I can slip the book in there, so when I give it to the student, it's all neat and tidy and together. So when they go home, they know where everything is in one thing. So you can get those. They're about $3 from Officeworks. They may have gone up or down, I'm not sure with the change of prices these days, but that's how much they were at the time of this video. Now, let's start here. We'll go through this. I've got a cover sheet here. I suggest that you make up your own cover sheet with your own music school name, whatever you call your school, Jim Bob's Guitar Method or Jim Bob's Guitar School. Put in there whatever you like. But the method itself, of course, is the G4 Guitar Method, and that's what you want to promote. And you also want to make sure that you've got our website and our details on there. And the idea is that by promoting the G4 Guitar Method and the method name, that we're all helping each other. It's a network. So by you teaching and me teaching and everybody teaching, what happens is that we increase the awareness of the G4 Guitar Method, which in turn increases the number of students that you and all the other teachers will get. Now, here's the first page. The first page is what we call the daily practice sheet. I'll just take you through it and show you what it's all about. The daily practice sheet consists of 4 sections, if you like, but the 3 main sections. The top section here is skills. These are 1 to 7, and I specifically numbered them 1 to 7 because 7 is, as we know, the diatonic scale. It's a very significant number, and it's also been proven as the number that most people can remember. Most people can retain 7 things in their head. When you go beyond 7, it gets confusing. So these are what we're going to call the 7 essential skills of the G4 Guitar Method. There are other skills, of course, but these are the main ones. So picking, number 1, chords are number 2, arpeggios are number 3, scales are number 4, rhythm is number 5, reading is number 6, and oral is number 7. So what we're going to do is when you start your students off, you're going to spend time explaining what each of these skills are. And you're not going to do it all in the first lesson. The introduction is a 5-week introduction is what I suggest. So you start your students off for 5 weeks, and they will pay the nominal rate, whatever it is at the time, and you will then give them 5 half-an-hour lessons once a week for the 5 weeks, and each time what you want to do is try and cover these skills. So in the first lesson, perhaps you'll just cover picking and chords, just the first and second one. Now, it will vary on student to student depending on how much time you get, and just other general things that come up. The first lesson is really about making a connection with the student and just giving them a couple of things to work on. So the first 2 there, 1 and 2, picking and chords, are what you want to be doing in the first lesson. In the second lesson, then you want to try and work on arpeggios and scales if you have time. But remember to revise picking and chords. Make sure that they understand what picking and chords are, and then add arpeggios and scales. Sometimes I'll only add arpeggios if I feel that it's a bit too much for them to digest. Then I'll just add the arpeggios in the second lesson. In the third lesson, you're looking to go to rhythm and reading if you can, but again, if you don't have time, just give them what you do have time for. So in this case, you might only get up to rhythm, or you might only get up to scales. And so by the 4th lesson, you've got 2 more lessons. You've got the fourth and the 5th lesson where you can cover oral and any of the others that you've missed out. And that gives you, the 5 weeks gives you enough time to go through each of the skills. It also gives you enough time to be able to touch base with what they're all about, what they want to do, what they want to learn, and get to know your student quite well and understand how they learn, what works for them and what doesn't work for them. The next thing here is songs. Obviously, the name of the game is songs. Everybody who learns guitar wants to be able to play songs. So what you're trying to do is work on the skills so that they can then play the songs that they want to play. In the same way that sports people, for example, being a football fan that I am, I know that sports players and football players, they do a lot of skill work. They don't just go out and play the game every week. They spend lots of time kicking the ball, practicing tackles, practicing certain kinds of maneuvers, and that's what the skills are all about. That's why we do scales, that's why we do chords, etc. And it's important that students know this. And using the analogy of sport, because most people have played sport or understand sport, they will get it. If they're learning songs all the time, then what they tend to do is learn specific skills to those songs or learn those specific songs, but they don't understand how those skills fit into other songs. So that's where the skill work is really important, separating and isolating. One of the examples that I use is that I used to train in a pool, and I used to, basically in the same pool as me at the same time, was Ian Thorpe, the swimmer, training, and I used to watch the way he would do skill work, the way he would obviously tie his legs and just use his arms, or use a paddleboard and just use his legs. Anyone who's done any squad swimming understands that concept. So the idea is that you isolate each of those areas, and that's what the skills are about, isolation. Now, the remember part here, it just goes through some things that you can remind your student, but also to remind you as a teacher. This works just as well for you, and the reason I did this in the first place was to remind myself as a teacher what I need to make sure that I teach the student and what I need to keep reminding the student about. So I've put a list here of things to remember, things like writing in the practice log, writing their practice down. It's proven fact that students who write their practice down, who measure their practice, will actually improve faster than those students who do not. So getting a student to keep a practice log is going to make the difference to whether they improve or not. Remember, the name of the game for you as a teacher is to get your students to practice. If there's one thing the G4 guitar method is designed to do, it's designed to get students to practice. Students who practice improve and progress, they build confidence, and then they just naturally improve. So your job is just to get them to practice, simple as that. So always record. Next thing is use a metronome. We've all heard that a million times. Avoid looking at your hands. Try and use a mirror. Get students not to be looking over their hands, but actually using a mirror. Establish a routine. Students who establish a routine, again, it's been proven that people who get into routines, especially children, are much more likely to succeed. Things like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, getting dressed in the mornings, whatever you do, making your bed, these things that you do are things that you learn routinely. You learn to do them probably when you're quite young, and you do them every day now consistently. So it's all about building the routine. Try and practice where you will not be disturbed. That makes obvious sense. Be patient. A lot of students forget the patience factor. It takes time. I usually say to students, it takes about 2 years to learn the guitar. Stick to the program and refer to this sheet every day. So keep telling students, keep reminding yourself of the things that you need to be doing, the skills, the songs, and the things to remember. Stick to the program, of course. Again, studies show that those who stick to programs have more success. There's a couple of other things there, and then it's got our web address down the bottom. So that's the daily practice skill. I'm going to rush through the rest of it here just so you get the idea. This here, the next page after the daily practice sheet is the practice log. Then we've got the ultimate song list. The ultimate song list, the importance of the ultimate song list is that students get to write down the songs that they want to play, and that reminds them of why they're learning guitar and keeps them motivated, and it helps you to understand why they're learning guitar, what are the things that are important to them. Then after that, we've got all the skill pages, and you can go through those. The only one that I do want to point out is that at the rhythm sheet we're here, there are more rhythm sheets. This is only the first and the second rhythm sheet, so there's more that you can add to that. So that's pretty well it. So I'm just going to grab this sheet here and show you once again. So we've got the G4 guitar daily practice sheet at the front, and then we've got on the back of there I've got understanding the G4 guitar method, which you can have a look at as well. And then we've got all the sheets here, the practice log, the ultimate song list, and so forth. And of course, you've got the Progressive Guitar Method book, which you can purchase online from our website, or you can buy it from a local music store. Hope that's been helpful. If you do have any questions, please feel free to email me. My email address is on the website, or you should have a copy of my email address if you're a member. Thank you very much, and I will talk to you again on another video very soon. Thanks for your time.